Hey guys, for those who are new, I want to introduce myself. My name is Eju.
And I'm Shirak.
And if you're coming back, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you guys.
Yes, we do.
New channel, we're rolling, we're doing some new things. More on that later. But today we're going to talk about Kent because his trial is coming up soon.
Right. But first, let's just do some little bit of housekeeping. This is for education, entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research and always be kind to everyone, friends, family, even strangers.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely in the comments, they're just everywhere. And we're going to get started right away. We're going to jump into this thing, Shirak. So, there's a lot going on with the Kent case here, or how you say his last name, Mawhinney. Is that the best way to say it?
Yeah, we can say
But we're in Connecticut, so we're keeping on top of this one. Plus, this is a fascinating case because to this date
yes.
they have not found Jennifer, and there's just had a lot of roller coasters. I'll leave some links at the end of this episode in case you want to catch up on it. We're not so much a storytelling show. There's other podcasters that do that type of stuff, but we do have some shows that on this topic, on this case, that kind of gives a quick overview. But what
Yes.
we do here is we have our own like crime board, which is what
There you
we
go.
put together with you guys, the community,
Mm-hmm.
on things that are factual, we feel confident about, or we do like a community vote.
Votes.
So,
Yeah.
make a long story short, if you look at this board, and sometimes we add to it, we update it, we change things, but it's all based on us as a community, you guys as listeners together. But basically, the things you guys voted on was you feel confident that Michelle and Fotis were the main suspects.
Yeah.
Kent is a question mark. We're going to talk about that today. And then you guys feel that so far in the community vote, it was pretty majority. It was a decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
Said that her body was probably somewhere
In the
in
house.
that the vicinity of the house, meaning it didn't make it to the vehicles and out of there. And there's reasons why. There's a whole episode we do on that. Maybe I'll leave that one at the end too for you guys to check out. Oh, we have our little cat here that likes to come visit us when we're recording. Sorry, we're a little distracted. But let's get into it, okay? So Shrock, sometimes we leave a lot of the verbiage on the screen. It's
Yeah.
not that we expect you guys to read it, whether you're on your phone or looking at this on the TV. We just leave it there in case you want to use this, take screenshots and use it for something, or if you want to look at it later.
Right.
But do you mind, Shrock? You
Yeah.
just want
So
to paraphrase some
basically,
of the stuff?
yeah. So this is Kent Mawhinney. What's his relationship, right? His relationship to Jennifer Dulos and also Fotis. He was the civil lawyer in the case, and he was also friends with Jennifer, which is the estranged husband. He was arrested before, for allegations of sexual assault, and he was charged
With
with
a strange wife.
estranged
Yeah.
wife. Yes,
Yeah,
estranged
his
wife.
wife. Yep.
Exactly. So that's just a little bit of history about him and a little bit of his background
Yep.
of it and who
Yep.
he
Just
is
who
and,
he
and, and
is
what's
in
his
relation to
relationship.
him. He was a
Yes.
civil
And how
lawyer,
is he
friends of
connected?
Dulos. Exactly. And again, there's oh my god, there's so many shows out there that give you the real in depth. We're just kind of doing a preview to get you set on who Kent is and what's going on there. And then he was linked. He had a buddy that had this like gun
Yes,
club, right?
exactly.
And it was interesting because he asked him, can he get access to the place? And make a long story short, not too long after that, they found this makeshift grave there where they
Exactly.
found bags of lime, or they found lime in the tarp or something like that.
Right.
He grill grates and things like that. And he's kind of tied to that.
But the crazy thing about this is that he was no longer a member
Oh,
of the
yeah. It
gun
was
club.
just a friend.
So
Yeah.
it's just a
It
friend.
was
So
really weird.
he was, yeah. And so there was a connection there saying, okay, who is this grave was for? Could have been, like you said, could have been for his wife, who knows, or it could have
Yeah.
been for Jennifer Dulos. But it was definitely found about a week or two before, actually, before Jennifer.
Definitely suspicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they think there was a link there.
So we're bringing all these pieces together to kind of say how does Kent fit into all this
Exactly,
with
and
everything.
yep, and when he's gonna be, yeah.
So this is and it's so funny because it's when this is all near almost our backyard where we live. We're close to these places.
Exactly.
All right, so that's the Rod and Gun Club over in Windsor. And then here I'll let you
Oh,
start
yeah, yeah,
because I get
so
excited with this stuff. Go ahead.
yeah, so he's definitely, yeah, I guess the police officers had spoke to Mawhinney, and in June he didn't talk to Dulos, and he suffered a concussion. He's basically stating, and he fell and his phone cracked. So he was coming up with all of these things that happened. And he had a concussion.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so to back up to give context, that what happened is that they, meaning the investigators, said, "Oh,
Hmm.
did you use your phone on such and
Did you
such
had a
day?" He's like,
conversation
"No, actually, yeah. Did you have a conversation with
with Dulos?
Fotis?"
He said
"Oh
he
no,
doesn't
I
remember.
I, I don't remember because I fell." And I suffered a concussion, and then when I fell, I broke my phone. I guess he
Yeah,
didn't have one of those otter boxes, right? This is
exactly.
a bunch of stinky, what?
But this is what I think.
It's
You
crazy.
are a lawyer. You know that data is going to
Yeah,
be on your
give me a
phone. So
break.
data's going to be on your phone. So why not just say the truth and say maybe I did had
No
a
kidding.
conversation with him? Okay, you have a conversation, but you didn't say what you talked about. Of course, that can be the next question that they're going to
It,
ask you.
it's
But
it's so
then that's
silly.
when you can go into. I'm not saying, but he can say other stuff. But they have the facts that you
Yeah.
spoke to him, so you can't really deny that.
It's so ridiculous. And if you have concussion, how do you even know? Did you go to? Do you have the ER report? Did you go to
Exactly.
doctor? Excuse me, I got a cough.
Yeah. So do we want to see
Yeah, it's
facts of
it's
that?
ridiculous. So that's the context of that whole thing. In case folks are not as close to his case. But he's like, I don't remember contacting him. What a bunch of mm.
He was not just contacting, he was at his house, right? Waiting for
Oh yeah,
him.
yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So the arrest warrant claims Dulos and Mawhinney allegedly dumped evidence the night
Like,
Jennifer went missing.
yes,
But
exactly.
that's all. I know that's allegedly.
He
Everything's
also
allegedly
facing
here.
conspiracy to
Do your
commit
own
murder
research.
charges in connection
Uh huh.
in the disappearance of the Jennifer Dulos. And he has pleaded not guilty and is waiting for trial.
Yeah, and I think he was. I forgot what else he was charged with originally too. But anyhow, he's awaiting trial. So we just recently got an update. That's the purpose of this episode, is to talk to you about what him and his attorney. This was what, maybe
March
March. I
3rd.
mean,
So
not
March
March.
3rd
I'm
too.
sorry. Yeah, March 3rd. You're
Yeah,
right.
March
Yep.
3rd. Yeah.
So it's now this part we will read. So his maternity attorney. What am I thinking? I don't know anybody having a kid. Um, yeah, his attorney Jeffrey. Oh boy, I gotta say his name. Castabond. Oh my god, I'm horrible. See, you should do the
Ca-
names.
Casting ban, yeah.
So
Right.
he said the senseless murder of Jennifer Farber was a horrific crime. We hope the verdict in the Troconis case provides a measure of relief for Mrs. Farber's family and friends. The verdict has nothing to do with Kent Mahoney, whatever. However, his name was barely mentioned over the 6 weeks of trial for a good reason. He was not involved in the death of Jennifer Dulos. Okay, so we got to pause here, and we got to pause a little bit, and I'll go back to what I prepared a little bit more for this. So, let me ask you, Shirak, what do you think of that statement?
Well, he's saying he's pleading guilty, right? He didn't do the case, so he basically,
No,
his lawyers
he's
not
not
guilty,
guilty.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, he's not guilty, so he has to say he had no involvement, right? That they really
Mm-hmm.
didn't say his name, but his name was mentioned, and if he didn't have anything to do with the case, why is he going to court for the case? So,
Yeah. Yeah, and what does one thing have to do with the other? Oh,
exactly,
well, it didn't. Well, the other trial was for Michelle, not
exactly.
you, Kent. So
Why
that was
talk about
so
you?
weak. I hope he's not paying this guy a lot of money. I'm so sorry. I have nothing
Exactly,
against
and
the guy.
why talk about when Michelle case is more focused
Yeah.
on her, so why would he be talking so much about you? Your case, they're gonna be saying your name a lot,
To
so
me, that's very weak. I understand his attorney had to mention this, and nothing against the attorney. I'm sure he's a really good lawyer, but I just thought that was very weak. What he could have said, instead of his name was barely mentioned, like that's just weird. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I'm not into this stuff, but I think I would have said, during that case, there was nothing that was said about Ken to implicate him related
implicate
to the
him.
charge. Doesn't that sound better than, oh, they barely mentioned his name? Well, of
Exactly,
course, it's about Michelle. What do you think?
exactly.
Why would they be drilling her about Kent? Now, here's another thing too, that what I'm thinking about is that, well, Michelle, we'll get to that later, but Michelle's sentencing is coming up soon, Shrock.
Oh,
And
yes. Mhm.
and you know what? They're going to after she sits there for a while and finds out how much she's going to get in terms of serving time, let's see what she has to say about Kent.
I know.
If
His
she
name is
don't like him, she may,
yeah.
give it to him. So anyway, I had a couple of things added to this, Shrag. I want to talk to you and everybody out there about this, okay? And what we'll do is just to let you guys know, we'll talk about this at the following week's live stream, okay?
Yes, this is what the topic is going to be
This
about.
is going to be about. All right. So this is in the court documentation, in the affidavit, and
Yeah.
in terms of, okay, he may not have been mentioned that much in Michelle Troconis's trial, but this is some of the things related to what she had to say and how Kent plays involved. So forgive me for reading this, but I just wanted to mention to you. For the meeting with Dulos' cell phone, Troconis told investigators in a first interview that there was a 4-group meeting on the morning of May 24th, 2019, the office of Jefferson Crossing,
Yeah.
which was attended by Dulos and Kent. Account was contradicted by her subsequent claims by Mawhinney, meaning Kent. All right, so that was one thing that was mentioned. Troconis reported that Dulos was in the 4-group office section of the residence conducting business meeting with the attorney Kent that morning, same morning, approximately 8:15. She ultimately told 3 different versions of this meeting. Troconis first said that she saw Kent and Dulos both sitting at the table talking with one another. Later, Troconis indicated she only heard Kent and Dulos talking, but never saw the two of them together sitting at a table. And finally, Troconis reported that she only heard Kent talking, but did not see or hear Dulos. So I know that's about Troconis, but that talks about Kent and his, involvement. So that's in the court cases.
And the question
So,
is
yeah.
that it says never saw,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
like, where was she? She basically
Yeah.
was there. She had the,
Oh,
had an
she was
interaction.
there and Kent was there
Exactly.
and she changed her thing 3 times. So
yeah.
I wouldn't be too cocky, Kent and his lawyer. I still think that was a very weak statement, but that's besides the point.
So, do you think that they both going to start attacking each other, Kent versus
You
Michelle? Like
know,
he's going to
I want to
she's
say
already in
I
jail.
want
So
to save that for the end. But remember that question because I want to get through this, and that's the one thing I want to talk, and that's what I want to talk about in the live stream too with these folks, with everybody, you guys out there. So really quickly, as this is the last thing in the court documentation that I want to mention about Kent, because that's what we're talking about here, and that is Kent, close friend of Dulos, practicing attorney who lives in South Windsor. His name was on the alibi scripts written by Dulos. Oh, sorry. Here comes the cat. You can put her down. If you can. Oh yeah. Hold on a second. Oh, well, you already put her down. I don't know if anybody was able to see her. She's a really gentle, sweet. She doesn't meow. She meows like once every 6 months, maybe, and that's when she gets herself locked in somewhere. She's the most affectionate cat. Her name's Boo. She's a black cat. Really nice. So sidetrack. So once in a while you might see her in one of our episodes. All right, let's back to this. So when Kent was interviewed on June on the 9th and the 25th of 2019, detective obtained personal knowledge of the events of which transpired at the Ford Group office located in Dulos' residence, and specifically any contact he made with Dulos, Troconis, and the other persons on the day of Jennifer's disappearance. So this was Kent's statement. This is why I included this. Kent stated he met Michelle Troconis for the first time within the last 30 days of the meeting. Kent was aware that Fotis had been dating Michelle Troconis prior to the meeting, for the first time. Kent stated there was no scheduled meeting with Dulos on the morning of the 24th, and he acknowledged he did not see Dulos that morning. In the second interview, Kent changed his account to reflect there was a prearranged meeting. So he's got his foot into this, is what I'm trying to say.
right.
Okay, this is going back to so regardless of again what the attorney says about Michelle Troconis's trial, which I know is related to the case, but again, not really related to Kent. It's still there's still some stuff in the court documents from the beginning. That's the whole point. And just to give an update for you guys in terms of the court information, again, I think in one of my previous videos, I mentioned how you can just go court case lookup, CT court case lookup on Google. You'll find where you can look up these cases in Connecticut. I don't know if other states are different, We can find the information, and he is charged with conspiracy to commit murder. He has pled not guilty. You see the offense date down below, his arrest date,
Plead not
and
guilty.
his list trial date is May 15, 2023. So this episode will probably be out maybe a week before that. So we'll definitely have
Well,
another
that says
update.
2023. We have 2024 now.
Oh.
That's
Yeah, I think
different.
it's 2024. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
But
that's
no, what's
right.
funny is I think it did get updated for later this month. I have to look at that, guys. My bad. This says 2023, but I do believe there's going to be another update on this soon. Anyhow, I forgot the date on that.
Yeah, it'll be
My
something
bad.
soon.
Oof. But to let you guys know too, just to go a step further, and if you made it this far and would like to support us, please comment, like,
Subscribe.
subscribe. That really helps us out. And at the time of this recording, we just hit 750 subscribers. Not that many because we just started in January, but that's great for us. That for us, it hit an internal goal because we've always wanted to be an interactive show where we talk to you guys, meaning we have live shows and we interact more often, like weekly. But I didn't want to start that until we at least had a decent amount of subscribers. And 750 was a number that we wanted to get to. So
Right.
we hit it. So now we're going to do those live shows.
So we hoping y'all can join us. It's going to be
Yeah.
Tuesdays, so it's going to be something consistent. Just
Something we're
add
going
it
to do
on your
consistent
calendar.
every
You can
week.
actually have it a repeat
Yep.
on your calendar. 7:30 every Tuesday,
So the two,
starting May 7th.
yeah. So it'll be past that date. So, excuse me, if you're wondering when this one will air, it will be the next Tuesday. So if this comes out, this episode on Thursday, you're watching on Thursday, the upcoming Tuesday. That's what this the live stream would be about. It will be about this
That will be
case.
the topic.
So just to give you a little extra bonus because you're hanging there so long, for Michelle Troconis, just to let you guys know, the next activity day. I think this is where I was getting confused with Kent, so I apologize.
5:31.
She's waiting disposition, which means the sentencing on May 31st, 2024. So there's going to be a lot more in this case coming up.
Yes, and we will keep you updated.
And the question for you guys that I will put on the community board is, do you think Kent will be convicted of conspiracy to commit murder? Right? Do you think he'll be convicted? That's going to be the question of the day. So let's go back. Let me switch over here. And I'm going to start with you. So you remember your question?
Well, I know my question is, but definitely, they think they're going to be pointing fingers at each other. Maybe Kenton is going to be like, Michelle did this. And she's like, oh, she can take the blame for it. And I guess Michelle might be pointing her fingers at Kent. It's going to be a battle, I think.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking is, and I could be wrong. I mean, these things are, you never know what's going to happen and behind the scenes. But, I always go back to what investigators tell people when they're trying to get somebody on the case, trying to get somebody to squeal. They say the first one to act is the first one to get the best deal.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Michelle and their attorneys are waiting to see what's going to happen with Kent, what's going to happen with her. And now Kent is probably trying to, and this is just a guess, guys. I'm not
Right.
an expert, right? And I'm not a strategist when it comes to this. I just try to think logically, and I do a lot of analysis for a living, so that's part of my personality. But the thing of it is I'm thinking that maybe Ken is lawyer saying we are going for completely innocent. We have nothing to do with this, and we're going to stay that road no matter what. Only if he gets convicted, then we may play some cards. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Why bother coming out and saying, yeah, I did this, that, and the other thing and get a deal when you can maybe get, have a good chance of getting everything dropped?
He's not gonna say he did anything because he want to stay in the clear. Because when you start opening up those cans of worms, saying, "Well, I did this," then
Yeah,
it's gonna lead to another
exactly.
question. Like, okay, first you said you spoke, you didn't speak to photos. Now we know you spoke to him. The next thing is, what did you speak about? Then the questions start coming that way, and then it's question
Yep.
after question after question. Like, why was you discussing this?
So
So it's just gonna be he just gonna dig a hole for himself if he
I
does
think,
that.
yeah, I agree. I think Michelle Troconis has a little bit of the upper sleeve because, in a way, I know she's convicted, so it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think because she's already convicted, so it's already a bad thing. She tried to be, set the stage of her being not guilty, but obviously she is found guilty. So what she can do is just wait to see where she gets with the conviction and how much time she needs to spend. and they could see what's going on with Kent, and she could say, "Oh, by the way, I know you guys are right in the middle of this Kent thing, and you really want to put him away, and I could really help you with that and tell you. And oh, by the way, I could really tell you he really knew more than I did, and it can get ugly, Shrek, like you said.
Yeah, but it always come back to now you tell us why you didn't tell us this before, and then they
Well,
maybe
her,
ask
yeah,
the questions before and she maybe say something. So you can't really try to change up, because then you're not going to be a reliable witness, because it's all
yeah.
about credibility,
Yeah, I mean, she could play the
she's not going to
card
be a
where,
credible
it was really
witness.
talking about me. It wasn't talking about Kent, but, I can tell you things. Maybe she could come to the angle. I can tell you some things about Kent to help your case if you help me reduce the sentence. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of games. All I know, I wasn't too impressed with Kent's, as you know,
Statement.
the attorney statement. Oh, it wasn't mentioned too many times. So that's what?
Yeah.
Just say that, hey, it doesn't, he wasn't, there was no discussion of Kent being involved in any which way. So, but yeah, he's not going to be let off that easy. So, all right. So here it comes down to, let me ask you the big question. Based on what we know, which we don't know all the evidence, we know a decent amount of it. We have to go through some more of the documentation.
Mhm.
Shirak, what do you think? Is he going to be guilty or found innocent of convicting of conspiracy to commit murder?
That's
I
tough.
know it's a tough one. Come on.
Okay, so we got to go with the facts, right? What facts do we have? We definitely know he was at the
I'm
scene.
looking for an answer.
I got to go through why I made my decision,
Okay,
though.
good.
So the facts is that he definitely was connected to somebody at the gun club. So there was conspiracy that he did that, like he did that whole. So what was that whole for? And definitely he was definitely having communication with Kent. So he could be convicted. I'm thinking just because of the evidence they have there. But I don't know how much time he might just get off with, maybe a year or two, or maybe just I don't know. But I don't know if he's gonna do that much time as Michelle.
So here's what I think. And again, we only know what they know. I got a gut feeling that they have more evidence that we're just not privy to yet. I have to go see if if we have access to that latest affidavit with him. Sometimes you don't get those documents till like after the fact or so far along. But based on now, this is gonna be interesting because I'm gonna say the opposite. As of today, as of now, I think he's gonna be. I'm not saying he is innocent. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he is innocent. But I think based on the evidence that we know so far, which would I admit we don't know everything. I want to say he's not going to be convicted because the hole he dug, you have to show proof. Did he actually? Okay, there's a lot of circumstantial, but he
Mhm.
could say I dug the hole for some because I don't know for parts of the animals. Like I dug it maybe for his wife, which is another whole case. There could be a lot of reasons. You got to prove that he actually even did it, and then okay, you covered for him, but you could say, well, I just didn't want to get him in trouble. Maybe he gets on another charge, but conspiracy to commit murder. What do they really have? I mean, I just don't know, but it's gonna be
Well,
interesting.
if you think about it, they went this far. I don't even think they would spend the money even going this far. The case could have been dropped. Why are we moving forward, right? So it could go both ways. Like I
It's
said, I don't think
hard.
he's going to. Who knows? He might get a slap on the wrist. I don't think he's going to spend a lot of time. Maybe even just
It's complicated
yeah.
because in
I
the
don't think he's going to
beginning,
definitely do a lot of time. He might even do any time. I'm just thinking they might say, okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
This is a good one, guys. I really don't
What do you
know.
think out there? I don't
Yeah, what
know.
do you guys think?
I'm kind
Because
of curious.
I mean, I think he was. Don't personally, I think he is involved. I think he is involved. I just don't think we haven't seen it yet. I gotta watch the trial,
Yes,
and
me
that's gonna
too.
be fun. And we'll give updates and stuff like that too, guys.
Yeah, that
So
would be awesome.
more of
Yeah,
this coming up.
definitely.
But thank you guys for hanging in there and for our discussion. But this is why we want to have these discussions every week with you
Yes.
guys.
And this is what we're going
And
to be talking about, which would be
oh yeah,
interesting.
we're gonna talk a
Yeah.
lot more and get into details.
And
I
one
hope you
thing,
guys have
we
fun.
are is open minded once we start getting evidence, just because,
Oh
we
yeah,
go one way, don't think we always going to be that way. Sometimes we say, okay, so this is lesson at this time. So we definitely open minded. So, and that's everything, sometimes when you actually go to trial, you find more evidence or you find out this evidence is not reliable, or
Some new stuff pops
yeah,
up
new stuff pops up.
we don't even know about.
Exactly. Because, yeah.
So that's all good. So we'll catch you guys on Tuesday. Hope you can join us. And with that, we'll sign off. And until next time,
Studio
Studio
70.
70.